I'm here with Sheento, coming in from Sanguine, and obviously the lovely colors behind you in the house already. And and I just told you this, but for everyone watching, we're just gonna try to get to know you. We've seen your play, we've seen your name on screen, we've seen all the stats and everything like that. Now it's just to know the man behind the name. And so I guess the first thing I want to ask, is like, where are you from, and what was it like growing up there?
I'm from Uruguay, a small country from Latam Sur. Um, I don't know. I love that country because there's a lot of soccer right there. I mean, you play a lot of
Hmm.
soccer, and it's kind of the same from here in the United States. Like the food is fatty food. It's like hamburger, fries, milkshakes. It's like we're kind of the same in food. So yeah.
Yeah. And so you mentioned soccer and the food and stuff. Well, what kind of things did you do when you were growing up there? Are you a big soccer player, or did you have something
Yeah,
else?
yeah. I was the classical kid, like playing a lot of soccer and playing FIFA too. I mean, the only two things I do in my life is like playing soccer with my friends and playing FIFA and study. That's it. That was my life.
Hey man, sometimes you don't need any more than that, right? Like that's
Yeah.
if that makes you happy, that's all you need. And it's always interesting because I've noticed, at least for me, I've run into so many, pro gamers at least that have come from Uruguay, at least more than I thought that would pop up. So is that something that's maybe big over there? Is gaming like big in the culture?
No, it's weird because in Uruguay we are only 3 million people in all the country.
Hmm.
So we're a small country, and it's kind of weird. But for example, in SMITE, I'm the only Uruguay player. I don't know in other games, but yeah, it's not. It's like soccer. A lot of soccer,
Yeah.
not too much game over there.
Hmm. I mean, that maybe helps breed some of that competitive gaming kind of, at least
Yeah,
mentality that comes forward in you. Is that kind of like soccer was your first taste of being maybe more competitive, even though you were playing with friends?
yeah. We're so competitive. For example, in Uruguay and Argentina, we have a lot of competitive with soccer.
Hmm.
That's why I think we're too much competitive. I think that's why we love competitive to people.
And you had mentioned FIFA. So was that like your first game that you played growing
Yeah,
up, or was there something that kind of came before it?
yeah. I always play FIFA, but I play FIFA offline, like with my friends, like in my
Hmm.
house with my friends, or Call of Duty, some other game. But I never play online one game. The first game I played online was SMITE actually.
Oh yeah, well I think that's actually really interesting. So was Smite really the one that got you more into competitive gaming, or
Yeah,
I mean, if it was the first one online, you must have been kind of chilling on FIFA for a while.
yeah. I chilling for FIFA and like yeah, in normal life. I started playing SMITE. I remember like in 2015.
Oh wow, so you are kind of, I guess, just relaxing, being able to go through, and it sounds like it was fun. And just to kind of go back though, what's your family like? When you were growing up, what were you surrounded by? What do they do? And were any of them maybe kind of helping inspire you to go forward and maybe helping breed that competitive nature?
Not really. I have a lot of friends. All my friends, we love like competing. We love playing. We love playing soccer. We love playing, for example, FIFA. We play a lot of we play competitive each other.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's it. I think it's from my country. We have the spirit, the competitive spirit. I think it's more like that.
And so, like growing up, and this is just something I guess for your home life. Like, did you have brothers and sisters or anything like that, or are you an only child? Like, what was your family life like?
I have a sister, only a sister. It
Hmm.
was in my family was only my mom and my sister, because my dad left me when I was like 5 years old. Yeah, he left me he go to Spain, and I stay in Uruguay with my mom and my
Hmm.
sister. And yeah, I grew up with my mom and my sister very much.
I'm sure they were really happy to have you around. Did she play games or anything with you, or were you two kind of living just separate lives while you grew up?
No, it's separate because my sister he have
Okay.
like 10 years more than me. So yeah,
Oh
he has
yeah.
like his own life
Yeah, I get
apart.
that. My brother is about 10 years older than me as well, and it's
Yeah,
just one of those things like you have that common ground, but they're just it's a different generation at that point,
yeah.
right? That comes through. Um, so you're growing up, you're playing soccer, and playing FIFA. You're living in Uruguay. Did you ever really see yourself getting to the point where you would be a professional gamer?
No, I always think I always love to like be like a football player, like all the player
Hmm.
like Messi, Neymar. I always dream about that. I wanna like compete and I wanna be a good football player, but I can't because I broke my leg, and that's why I
Uh,
entered to the games. Yeah, I broke my legs. I cannot like play anymore football, so I say
hmm.
I cannot play football. So let's get into the games.
Well, it's worked out at least up to now, right? I mean, you've been able to come through, be one of the top teams in the SPL, and it's something that is kind of different. It's still one of those things, at least in my mind, professional gaming. When you go to explain it to people, it's a little awkward to like get them to follow the same thread, right? So I want to know, like, your mom and your sister, what did they kind of think about it when you started playing Smite and it started becoming a reoccurring thing for you?
Yeah, the fears they thinking about like I'm wasting time. I need to study. I need to
Mm.
like stop playing game all the day. Stop like because back in the day I remember I never go to school because I still playing game like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and I remember I go to school like 8 in the morning. So I was
Hmm.
never go to school. So yeah, at the first time they say yeah you are lost in that you don't gonna do anything with that. But in the years and the years, I start to like travel, I start to like win money,
Hmm.
start to do a lot of things with this game, and start to get the truth of my mom.
Well, I think it's funny because not much has really changed, right? I mean, you guys are always up till like 6 or 7 in the
Yeah.
morning, still playing Smite. The sleeping schedule and the Sanguine House has always been an interesting
Mm.
conversation. But it must have been different. Like you said, you started to travel, you start making money, and now you have moved. Like you've left the country to come off and play this game. What was the conversation about that like? Because that has to be different to be able to say, like, look, I'm going to live in Atlanta, Georgia to play Smite
Yeah.
professionally for my living now.
I mean, the thing with me is different because I don't know if you remember with Leech, we go to Walls in
Hmm.
2017. I was 16 years old at that moment. I remember we played Worlds in that year, and in that year we played Worlds, and I went to live to Mexico alone. I mean, we Leech, we kind of the same. We do in here in
Yeah.
Atlanta, but in Mexico we put like a
Okay.
gaming house to like only play Smite, all the five Leech team. Yeah,
Hmm.
and I was living. I started to living in Mexico at like 2017 to like 2019, and now
So
I'm
it
living
wasn't
here in
even,
Atlanta. Yeah,
yeah, it wasn't even that big of a difference, I guess, for you. Like it's just okay. We were in Mexico, now we're here playing, and you're still going. And there's differences in culture, but for the most part, still living in a house with four buddies and playing
yeah.
Smite.
It's so good. It's a dream. It's really good.
Well, I'm kind of curious. You're one of the teams that does it, and we have a lot of teams around here that live together or at least nearby each other. But even now, we've seen a couple of the Sanguine guys walking behind you. You've got all your computers there. We've seen what it's like after you win. I want to kind of know what's it like, I guess, living in the team house, and how important do you think that is into playing the game as well, like just spending all that time together?
I think it's so important because you know the people you playing. I mean,
Hmm.
it's for example, if you playing like in your house, you don't know the people outside the smile of the PC. In I think in this situation, you know the people, you know what they like, you know what they do, you know everything about the people, and that I think is important, like a human, to know the people
Yeah.
and to know like the partners your friends is your friends, your teammate, and your friends. I think it's really important.
Yeah, that's always something that comes together. And at the end of the day, I mean, you're still playing to have fun. Whether there's competitive nature in there, you want to win, but if you're not
Yeah.
enjoying yourself and you don't enjoy the people you're with, I'm sure that's going to affect you. And there's also that limit. You guys play Smite a ton, and in fact, Sanguine, you're one of the few teams that I think we see that you'll finish scrims and then you'll still play another 8 hours of Smite anyway, just because you want to. And so this is a question I'm curious. Do you have much that you do outside of Smite? Like, what kind of things do you do to relax from playing Smite?
I love to like watching streams, other stream.
Yeah.
I love to like sit in the couch, all of us, like eating something, watching some stream, watching some series, watching some movies, and like talk about it, get have fun. I love to like sometimes we go to the park and like walking in the park or playing some football sometime, but we don't have too much time
Hmm.
in this season because we are a lot of games in this phase. So yeah, we're all playing Smite and that's it.
She's always grinding. I was gonna ask what kind of stuff the team does together, but I mean, you just kind of said you watch streams together. You go out and you'll play football slash soccer, which is what most people, well, not most people, some people here in the
Yeah,
U.S. are going to call it. So it sounds like you have fun and you guys do still hang out. And that's probably something that goes in hand with what you were saying earlier. Like everyone's being friends. Do you think doing that stuff outside of Smite maybe like helps your Smite play better? You feel better as a team because you spent that time together?
yeah. I think it's very important to like know each other outside Smite
Hmm.
because you have the trust in the game. I mean, you trust the people if you are a good friend to the people outside the game. I think it's a big deal. That's why we're like the best team in like in group in
Yeah.
the SPL, like in group. That's why it's a really important thing to us.
Well, it's been working out for you. You guys have done incredibly well throughout this year. And, speaking of which, you have been one of the top mids in the SPL pretty much all year. I mean, there was a period of time where you were top kills as well as, I believe, top KDA in the league for like 7 weeks in a row. It was ridiculous. So, I mean, did you ever think you, one, were going to be up here, but does that pressure maybe ever build up to kind of keep performing at that level?
No, I think I don't like see too much in my own. I see more like
Hmm.
in a team. I mean, if I do well, obviously it's really good, but always is more important like do well like a team. I can be the
Yeah.
best player in the world, but if my team didn't work or team didn't work, we're not gonna win anything. So it's better to like grow up like a team. Grow up
Yeah.
alone is good too, but I think I'm more like grow up like a team and keep going like a team, and that's main goal I think.
Yeah, you can do as well as you want. If everyone around you isn't doing as well, then yeah, you're not. It's not going to make a difference at the end of the day. So I actually like that mentality as well, because you guys now spend a lot of time in the public eye. I mean, there's a lot of people who are watching the streams, watching your games. Sanguine has a very vocal fan base as well. I'm sure all of the like Central American,
Yeah.
Latin American viewers love to be able to come in and watch your games. So, does that ever kind of get to you, seeing all these people talking about you, whether it's positive or negative? Does it kind of feel weird being that in the public eye?
I think it's really good for us because we have a lot of Latin people behind us, and we're trying to make a pro the LATAM, and we're
Hmm.
gonna try to make LATAM like a good country in gaming. Because in all the games, LATAM is like never do anything or never do like big things. That's why we're gonna like try to put LATAM in the big stage.
Well, hey, I can tell you, not only have you done it, I think they've been represented pretty well across high res games. I mean, there was a very, very notable LATAM team there in Paladins for a
Yeah,
while as
Valorant
well.
too.
And that's something that's kind of been interesting. But you said for you specifically, you started playing Smite around 2015, so a little more recently, about 5 years ago, which still actually seems like a long time. When did you realize though that you were good enough to go beyond just a casual player? When did you recognize that you were a great player at Smite?
I remember me and Ronju. I played with Ronju like 6 years. 6 years.
Hmm.
I remember I was with Ronju and three other friends, and we start playing like competitive in LATAM, and we start like grinding, playing. And I remember we passed 1 year and we go to Worlds. And at that time in Worlds, I was a kid with 16 years old, and I say, "Wow, what is this?" I was so wow. It was the best thing in my life to like go to Worlds and win one team in NA.
Yeah.
It was really crazy, and that moment. I say like, yeah, we can start doing big things here in this game. That's why we're gonna like start grinding more and playing 24/7.
And hey, man, it's definitely worked out for you, right? You got to grind so far. Last year, you made a huge splash. This year, now into the SPL, you've been making those steps. So hey, 20 from when you were 16 to now, things have been going up. But you said you teamed with Wrong You pretty much from the get go. How did you end up in mid of all things? Was that like the role that you wanted to play, or was it just kind of the one that was left for you?
I remember I started playing in solo. I was a solo player,
Hmm.
solo lane player, and then go to jungler, and then now in mid. But I remember when I play solo, I always remember I do a lot of things in early in mid game, but in late I was like getting destroyed all the time, and I was say I need to play some carry role. I need to carry my team because my
Hmm.
team didn't work, and that's how I found mid. I think like a carry role. That's why.
There you go. Sounds like aggro, right? The only place he thinks he can carry from is mid.
Yeah.
And hey, if it works out for you, it works out. And again, your stats kind of speak to that. But you played solo. You said you played jungle. If you had another play or another role, sorry, that you could play right now in the SPL, which one would you want to choose?
ADC, the most broken role in the game. Easy, just farm all the game and get to teamfight and left click and win
Yeah,
wars
they
of
do.
that.
They do just get to sit there and relax a lot of the game. Huh?
Yeah,
I guess you have to deal with the supports coming over. The junglers are always over there bothering you. You never get to relax anymore. So I
yeah,
guess I could see that being a big one for you. So you come in. You have a very versatile god pool. I think Sanguine as a whole does as well. So who's your favorite god? Like, is it any of the ones that you play regularly, or is it maybe someone that's a little further down the list?
I mean, if we think about it, and in other roles, I think it's Thor. Thor is really fun for me.
Hmm.
But I need to say Malin. Malin is probably my
Yeah.
favorite mage to play. Like, he's a lot of fun. You have a lot of abilities. You have a lot of things to do. It's so fun to play it. And yeah, Malin is probably my favorite god right now.
And I mean, he's got plenty of options, right? Technically, I guess 9 abilities that you can pull out, or
Yeah.
realistically, maybe 6. So he's fun. He gives you a lot of versatility, and with you, it always looks good as well. So he comes through. You're playing mid. I want to know, and this is maybe transitioning too far in the game, but I do just want to know: is there an item that you think is maybe overrated in mid, or maybe one that's underrated? So something that is either just bought too much, or maybe something that you think people should be buying more of?
I think people didn't build Soul River now because the nerf, but I
Hmm.
think Soul River is probably the best item in the game because you have a unique passive. That passive is so big for me because there are all the HP that are building now the tanks and all that, and I think a lot of people is like not building it. But yeah, I think it's that item. Spirit of the Magus back in the day, I remember I was the always guy building Spirit of the Magus when Spirit of the Magus was
Hmm.
never used. Yeah, Spirit of the Magus too. It was a
So I should keep my eyes out, at least to see if you're building them. And then if I know if you're building them, I should, at least anytime I get mid, maybe try to work them into my own play. See if I can at least make it work with my team there. You have played a ton, as you've highlighted, and you've mentioned that moment, specifically going to Worlds. You're 16 years old, and with all of these games playing, are any of the ones that you've played maybe on the world stage that stand out to you the most, that are like the most memorable for you?
yeah. I think the most memorable game I played it was versus Allegiance. When I was Lich,
Hmm.
when we win Allegiance in that Worlds, it was the best feeling in my life. All in I remember it was in the Cove Energy, all the people, all the things happening there. I was like, I wanna come all the years here, and I wanna win worlds. I wanna be like the big guys, like competitive, like get to the finals, win the game, and be the best team in the world. That's a main goal for me.
Well, hey, it seems like you're getting closer and closer every single year. So good luck, I guess, going forward for this year. But again, so you've got all these fun games you've played, and going back to it, you had mentioned playing with Wrong You for a little while. Your team, as it is right now, have played together for a little while. Who's your favorite player that you've ever teamed with? Is it anybody that's on your team right now, or is it somebody maybe in the past that has been on your team that you were just really happy to always be around?
Yeah, I think it's Ronyu because in all my teams in SMITE is with Ronyu. So I have, yeah, it's Ronyu is like one of my best friends too in the real life, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's Ronyu.
Now, did you and Rungyu know each other before you started playing Smite, or did you meet through the game?
No, I miss Ronyu in the game, yeah, and we have like 3 years in only relationship in the PC, and then I remember me and Ronyu we moved out to Mexico, and
Hmm.
yeah, it was a lot of fun, and now it's so fun too to live with
So,
him.
did you meet? Like, was it just hey, every time we queued, we end up on a team together, or was it a looking for group? Like, how did you end up kind of partying together and playing a lot of Smite together?
I remember we have a friend. I mean, I have a
Hmm.
friend, and Ronju is the same friend. We have like the same the same friend, and that friend
Yeah.
meet us. I remember I meet Ronju in an arena match, and I start to there. I keep playing with him a lot.
I'm happy to hear. I met one of my best friends the exact same way, so I'm glad to know that that is just a shared experience around it. And you have actually got an experience I think a lot of people would be envious of. Not a lot of people get to one make it to a world stage period, so that's already impressive. But you managed to go from this team that was always grinding to get there to now being a team that is in the pro league and is a pro. So if there's something that you wanted to tell people, that they wouldn't know about being a pro, like what would it be? What's one of the weirdest things that you now experience about being a professional gamer?
I think all the people think if we are professional, we are like
Hmm.
aliens people. We are like people from other world. That's a can tell.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be yeah. It's you're at the end of the day like you're still people. You're
Yeah.
coming around playing the game, having fun,
We're
right?
all the same. That's my point.
Hmm.
We're all the same. And wherever people can visit down here, and wherever if you
Hmm.
have the hungry and you wanna do it, you can do it easily.
Hey, yeah, if you're hungry for it, you can go. And we've seen a ton of players, but your team may be the most recent showcasing that exact thing. So I've got one final question for you. It's maybe the big picture question that comes in. What's your goal for this year, whether it's in Smite or in life? Like, what do you kind of want to see at the end of 2020?
Obviously, the main goal and the first goal is win world. Is
Hmm.
a really main goal. But I think the other goal is like doing well and still playing SPL. I think is a good goal too. Like still playing like
Yeah.
in the years. But yeah, the main goal is win worlds for sure.
Always got your eyes on the trophy. Keep looking up for it. I mean, again, the guys have looked amazing so far this year, so I'm excited to continue watching. But thanks for sitting around and chatting with me, dude. It was nice getting to know you, and I'm sure everybody is going to be like love this insight into it. But again, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you to you.